Talk to me nice, talk to me honestly. Look in my eyes, don't let it fall on me. Say you're a good guy, make me believe it. Don't wanna hear it, I wanna see it. See how rewind, when we rewind, it feels so nice. We time, you I know how to make me feel right. I can't help how. Got this sweet talk, I'm already on my way. I'm pulling up, don't be late. I'm cutting through all the lanes. Sweet talk, you need to say less to me. No need for no flowers, babe. I'm already on my way, on my way. Why you blushing? Yeah, sweet concussion. Oh, you miss my touching. Good do. Show me something. Give me more than one thing. I need more than less than I do. Say you a good guy. Make me believe it. Don't wanna hear it, I wanna see it. See how rewind, when we rewind, it feels so nice. I can't help how. Got this sweet talk, I'm already on my way. I'm pulling up, don't be late. I'm cutting through all the lanes. Sweet talk, you need to say less to me. No need for no flowers, babe. I'm already on my way, on my way. We've been dancing all night long, right here with you way too long. Don't want nothing here or now, but I'm done waiting, done wasting my time. Got this sweet talk, I'm already on my way. I'm pulling up, don't be late. I'm cutting through all the lanes. Sweet talk, you need to say less to me. No need for no flowers, babe. I'm already on my way, on my way. Sweet talk, sweet
Hi, friends. I'm Myra Sanchez, and you're tuning in to the Let Your Voices Be Heard podcast show. I'm the co-host, And the host of the show, Marcy Brooklyn Love, is on her way. So it's just you and me for now. Thank you so much for tuning in. And the subject of our podcast today is decluttering. I did a lot of research on this subject to gain some clarity around decluttering and how to let go when your heart just wants to hold on. Marcy and I had talked about different stories. She was going through a downsizing in preparation for a move, and I talked about it from the perspective of having lost my mom and being in the position to clear out all her stuff, which was incredibly challenging. And if you're wondering why I'm wearing this gorgeous, fantastic chain around my neck, this is the history of my shopaholic situation when I was in my 20s and I didn't know any better how to soothe myself or comfort myself other than going to a store and buying something new. The story I wanted to talk to you about regarding this chain is that in my 20s, I really didn't know the importance of identifying what was in my heart. And turns out because I had experienced a great loss in my life, there was a lot of sadness and a lot of emptiness in my heart. And I didn't know to talk about it with anybody, and I didn't know to acknowledge it. Matter of fact, I did everything to suppress it. And that is the biggest reason why I ended up on a path of not only cluttering my space, but also cluttering my mind and cluttering my heart so that I wouldn't have to think or feel or acknowledge what had happened. A lot of marketers really play to those experiences in our society. I mean, this is a consumer society, and emotional people make purchases. And they make purchases quickly and impulsively. And if you don't think that's true, you could just go to any store and you will see like the candy and the items that nobody really needs right there, very close to the cash register. And they're there and you're waiting online, and before you know it, you're making 3 or 4 extra purchases than you intended to. Am I right? What can you do? What can you do instead? How do you manage that? Well, I think the first step is awareness, is really gaining clarity about yourself and what you do day to day and what you want for your future and how to resist those urges that come up. Because clutter can happen in any area, right? We can clutter our kitchen with food that we'll never eat. We can clutter our bathrooms with creams and potions and things that we meant to use to stall old age, but didn't actually end up putting a self-care routine in place. We can make clutter in our closets with clothes that we intended to wear, but then when we finally tried it on, it didn't fit. Or even worse, you purchase on sale off the clearance rack and you kind of hope that you'll lose enough weight so you can fit in it. Matter of fact, I even heard a guy once say that women will even purchase shoes that don't fit them at the store just because they're hoping that someday they will fit into that shoe. That sounds crazy. And I'm ashamed to say that I have done that. I have loved shoes that hurt when I put them on at the store, but I loved them so much I couldn't leave them behind. I ended up buying the shoes and then just gained so much joy from looking at the pretty pair of shoes up on the shelf. Has that ever happened to you? Come on, let me know. Am I here alone? I hope not. If you catch this on the replay, be sure to add some comments if you are at all relating to the things that I'm saying. So, back to decluttering. The stats that I picked up was one, that there's a difference between hoarders, collectors. I never really thought about myself as a collector. I actually thought when I was thinking about this decluttering that I have some tendencies to create clutter. And I have also over the years have learned to take time for clearing out the closet, giveaway year after year, making sure that I got rid of the clothes that my kids didn't wear anymore, just to empty out the house and create more space for the new things. So when I looked at the statistics that they were talking about, I realized that according to Psychology Today, 1 in 40 people have a hoarding disorder, which is actually a mental health disorder. An in-depth analysis was done in May of 2025, and they found that the estimates of hoarding rose in the population from 1.6 to 6% of the population. I think that's quite a big jump. Hoarding is recognized as a common and impactful mental health disorder. So are you resonating with that? Do you know someone who hoards? Do you have hoarding tendencies? The difference between a hoarder and a collector, as they went further to explain, is that a collector has a lot of ritualistic and organizational patterns connected to the items that they've acquired. They spend time organizing them. They spend time looking at them. They spend time talking about those items. Hoarders, on the other side, on the other case, they tend to focus more on the acquisition of the items, and they don't really put much emphasis in organizing those items. And in fact, the second factor is distress. Collectors experience a lot of joy with regards to their items, and hoarders, they find joy occasionally and in some items, but for the most part, they find their behavior very destructive and unpleasant. The bigger thing is that, and I thought the surprising thing is that collectors tend to live in bigger homes and that hoarders tend to live in smaller homes. And they were sharing in the article that they thought that might be possible because hoarders impede their homes. They actually start putting worthless stuff in a lot of different places and clutter up their space so that they're unable to actually walk through their living space as it was originally intended. And collectors, on the other hand, they take a longer time to fill their home because the home is already bigger. I thought that was interesting. What do you think? The other thing that they went on to say was the saying that if you collect to decorate, you are a decorator. If you collect beyond that, you are a collector. I think when I was a young person and I was making all these purchases, I would have been called a collector because I do and did enjoy my collections. I have a Barbie collection of Barbie dolls from all around the world. It's not a huge collection, but probably about 30 dolls, maybe 40. I have also a Fabergé egg collection. That collection was quite pricey, and turns out that I quickly had to stop collecting Fabergé eggs once I had children and I found myself a single mom. It wasn't as easy to have those items that, sometimes those eggs can be a few hundreds of dollars. And I'm not talking about the original eggs. I have replicas. But even those are a couple $100, $500, and they don't necessarily go up in value. So tell me something about you. Marcy, if you're on the way, share a little something on this subject. Okay, well, I apologize to you, friends, because this is my first time ever being completely on there. Oh, there's someone on. Joe, thank you for chiming into this subject. I missed the last part of what you said there. What would this be worth in the futures? Oh, yes, that's true. They do look at value and consider the future. That is another thing that was brought up in the article that I was reading. They were talking about investors and their investor portfolios, and that if people who are investors are investing too much in a particular collection, then they are advised to move to another type of collection in order to create balance in the portfolio. So yes, that's a very good subject and a very good point that you've made, Joe. Thank you. Anybody else chiming in? So let's turn now to talk about how to let go. There are lots of places that can be benefited from us letting go of some of the items that we have collected over time. With regards to downsizing, as I was saying with my mom, I came to this place of understanding that I had to look at my children and think about the collections that I have and identify which ones I was going to hold on to. Oh, hi, Ivy. You have a Barbie collection too? Ooh, Wizard of Oz series. Oh my gosh, I wish you could send me a picture of that right now. I'd love to see it. So I was what was I just saying? Oh, Joe collects wrist watches and challenge coins. I had a friend who collected challenge coins. Those are quite beautiful. And I know some people who also collect silver coins and gold coins, which are actually gaining in value at this time. Why do you keep your dolls in the storage, Ivy? I put my doll, I created a shelving system. Oh, Alden has a fragrance collection. Very nice. I made a shelving system for my doll collection so that I could look at them every day. Believe it or not, I've never opened those doll boxes, and that's what actually keeps their value. But I started collecting those dolls when I was a young woman, and my intention was to give it to my daughters because I had saved a Barbie doll from my childhood. And when I gave it to my daughter right in front of my face, she grabbed the head and popped it right off the neck. And I was devastated. I was so devastated. And I learned there, as I was saying, that certain things that I collect would not be things that my children would want or enjoy. So as a result, I'm in the process now of downsizing and looking at those items and moving on. They no longer bring me joy, saving them for my grandchildren. Well, Ivy, I hope you have a grandchild that is much more careful than my daughter was. That's a good idea. So, so that also brings me to something else that I thought was interesting, which was the idea of storage. Do you know that in the United States, storage is an incredibly profitable business? I don't know if it means that we have smaller homes in general, or we just have so much stuff that everybody needs storage because nobody has enough closet space. What do you say about that? I've had storage maybe twice in my life. Once when I was moving from Brooklyn to Staten Island, I moved over the span of a year, and I created storage so that I could put all the boxes that I had packed in Staten Island, and I wouldn't have to pay a moving company for all those small items, and save some money that way. And then second time I did storage was when I had a business that went belly up, and so I had some inventory that I had to store, and little by little I gave it away in different ways, and ultimately ended up closing the storage. Ooh, I think I hear the door now. My salvation has arrived, and she's going to be with you very shortly.
You holding it down, girl. I'm telling you.
I'm over here just babbling and babbling and babbling. I hope that there was some value to what I've shared up to this moment for your listeners.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for arriving. Thank God she's here.
Oh my goodness. Hello, everybody. Oh my God. Thank you, Myra, so much. Go holding it down. Listen, guys, I'm so sorry.
Give me the mic. What are you doing?
The mic.
And move down.
Oh, she
I
said
had
move.
you all set up there, man. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Kimbra.
You know, this is life, right? Life is like this. You plan something, and then a moment changes, and the whole plan has to shift.
Yeah,
and you have to be ready. You have to be ready to do whatever it takes to keep it going.
Yeah, blame MTA. I'm telling you. Oh, Lord. Is my audio okay, Kimbra?
Pull your mic a little closer.
Okay, is this good?
So, Joe, I hope you're getting a good laugh over here. A really good laugh.
Number one on the board. Turn it up a little bit. Number one on the board. There you go. Turn it up. There you go.
Is that good?
Yep. Good.
This is real life
It is. It sure is.
podcasting.
It sure is, especially when the host is late. I apologize, everybody, for me being late. You know, things happen. But I want to say thank you, Joe. Thank you. Welcome to your show. Of course, you have to say something, right, Joe? Yeah. Thanks a lot. Now, I got to thank this lady right here, man. I'm telling you, she was holding it down for me. Listen, I used to be 10 minutes from here. Now I'm like 100 minutes away. So MTA, between all of that, even if you try to get on time, it's always going to be a delay. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for supporting my co-host. And definitely Marcy with the grand entrance. Thanks, Danny. But yes, as I was hearing Myra, and I love the concept here with the chains. Oh my God, that's
Yes, you know what? It's in honor of the Scrooge. That used to be my favorite story, and that's how I created it, because I wanted the chain to make those sounds, and I wanted to like remind myself all the time, stop shopping, stop shopping.
Oh my God, I love that.
And thank God I did that, because as a result of that, I did stop the extra shopping, and then I was able to invest in a real asset, right? Because that's what it is. You do that shopping therapy, and you end up spending all this money on liabilities, stuff you got to
Yeah.
carry around everywhere.
I know.
And you can't possibly trade for value, the value you spent up front,
Yeah.
right? But I mean, I didn't grow up knowing the difference between an asset and a liability.
Yeah.
So I had to learn the painful way.
Definitely. I know. We all have to learn the painful way, because if you don't learn, right, you don't grow. So life is a big old lesson.
That's right. That's right.
Like today.
That's right. That's right.
But I was hearing about your Fabergé eggs collection over there. I'm like, wow, I remember my mom had a couple of those.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. And I was like, I used to like to play with them,
Oh, no. Oh, no, I don't want to
Listen,
hear
no
this.
dirty minds out here, okay?
I do not want to hear about playing with
I used to roll them.
the eggs. No. They're so fragile.
I know. My mother was like, oh, what are you doing? And I cracked one or two. But
Yeah, I had a daughter like that. She cracked a couple of my eggs, And then I got smart and put them up like high on a shelf so that she could never reach them.
Fabergé eggs.
Yes. And my eggs are a musical.
Oh, okay.
So they're not only beautiful, but they're very pleasant to hear.
Do
And
they
every now and then I take them down, I wind them up just so I can hear that sweet sound. You know, they're a lot like when we were kids. Did you have those jewelry boxes that had the little
Yeah.
ballerina?
I love those.
And it used to have that sweet
Oh my
sound. So the
God.
sound is a lot like those type
like
of
those type of things.
items. Yeah,
I
I
remember
don't think
those
they make
eggs.
that kind of stuff anymore.
They don't. A lot
It's
of craftsmanship has stopped. But those things are so. I mean, it would have a lot of sentimental value, right? Because these are things that either they don't make them anymore, someone gave them to you. You know, whatever the case may be, these are like, you know, vintage type of things, right? You don't see them. And that's why a lot of people don't want to throw them away, don't want to give them away, or they want to pass them down and things of that nature. So it's like, you know, you wind up finding yourself with a room full of things. And it's like, you know, like you were saying before, you know, what's the difference between a collector, right, and a hoarder? Right. Well, there's a lot of levels to that, like we were discussing before, right? And I made my little notes here, but I don't know, since I came in late, I'm like, where I'm gonna be up to now? Yeah.
Well, I know that you said one
Yes.
of the things that you noticed you had way too much of was craft stuff.
Yes. Yes.
And I can relate to that
Oh,
because
yeah.
I also collected a lot of craft stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Partially because I used to do a lot of crafts with my kids.
Right.
But at some point, my kids were done with the crafts, and I still kept purchasing craft stuff.
Yeah.
And awareness, I think, is like a really big thing to helping you kind of rein in this tendency.
Right.
Right. And one of the things that I became aware of looking at all the crafts was like, I wanted to play a little bit more in my life. I wanted, you know, I started to consider the fact that I might have been doing the crafts with the kids because I wanted to do
Because you
crafts.
wanted it. You
Exactly.
you
That was like
liked
the
it.
perfect excuse, right? And then they grew out of it, and all of a sudden I was there without an excuse. And so it was difficult for me to engage in the play.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I made a pact with myself. I said, no more craft stuff. When I have it, I play with it or I make something and then let it go. But even that is an issue, right?
Yes.
Because I create the craft, and then even if it's crap, I can't throw it out.
Throw it out, right? I
Does that
know.
happen to you?
It does. Listen, let me tell you, now that you're bringing that type of stuff up, oh my God. When in the process of me moving, I have found so many craft stuff that I was like, I thought this was so nice that when I first made it, and I was like, what was I thinking? What kind of mood I was in? Like, shit out. So I was like, it's like you just don't realize how, I think also time plays a factor in it because time goes by really fast. And it's like as you're collecting and doing these things and you're just accumulating these things in a corner, or like when I had my basement, right? It took me literally 2 weeks for me to really empty that whole thing out. And the things that you find, right? And it's like, oh my God, what was, why? Why? Because I had the space for it. And when you have the
See,
space
the
for
collector.
it, yeah.
That's the difference, right? Did you hear me say that?
Yes.
That I thought that was a very surprising thing for them to say. If the article to show that.
Right. Yeah, collector. Well, I think using the word collector minimizes of the true meaning of a hoarder, right? Well,
No,
you don't think so?
no, I think there's just a very clear distinction there because hoarding is actually acknowledged as a mental health issue.
Right, right.
Right? So collecting is not a mental health issue. It is just the enjoyment of accumulating items and getting things of value. The distinguishing factor that makes it different is that hoarders in their mental health condition, they're not accumulating something valuable to exchange in the future or to do something with. It's just like they're just into the accumulation of things, and then they really don't have that relationship of joy or desire to organize it or to it's basically a hands-off relationship. Like they get it and then the relationship ends with it.
Yeah.
They're moved on to the next thing. And collectors, they're constantly engaging with the thing, which I thought was very interesting. So even for myself, I would have said, oh, Myra, you have some hoarding tendencies, right? But now after researching this article, I realized, oh, no. It's just that I had collecting behaviors. I like to collect because I still enjoy my collections. I mean, like as I was saying to Ivy, I still look at my dolls. I made a shelf so that I could see them every day as I go up and down the stairs. I see the beautiful dolls and I say hello to each one of those precious Barbies.
Really? Oh my
I
God.
do, because I never really got to play with them. I didn't take them out. I guess the little girl in me wanted those Barbies and I didn't get them. So when I had a job and I could get them for myself, I did. But then when I became a mom, then it seemed like I had to, my priorities changed.
Right.
And so then I was getting things for them, not so much for me. But I'm so happy that I had the little collection because it just always provides joy. Like every time I look at them, I'm like, those are my little friends. And I still feel that feeling.
What do you think, how much is too much for a collector?
I think the answer is the house. Right?
Yes.
You collected some stuff, and so you moved to a different space. And when you move to that different space, you cut some things off. You cut down. You cut some relationships. That's what you did.
For some props, Myra.
Oh, look! Somebody just said hoarders have separation issues.
Yes.
Right? They're so attached they can't let go. Right? But you were able to let go. So see, and I can let go of some things when it suits me. But until it suits me, if I'm still enjoying it, I'm still hanging on to it.
Oh my God, I can't. I love Myra.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Pay it forward, give it to someone, have a table at one of your vendor events. Joe.
Like a giveaway table. That's a great idea.
Yeah, sure.
I won't be giving away my dolls anytime too soon, but perhaps in the near future.
Probably, right?
I still enjoy them too much, but maybe the Fabergé eggs. I don't know.
No. Vintage, one of those vintage markets out there. Stuff
Maybe,
like that,
maybe.
But
I think in economic challenges like we're experiencing now, collectors also start to consider shifting and changing some of the items that they have or exchanging for other things, right? Because again, as you get older, your priorities change. So you might collect something and really enjoy it at one stage of your life.
Right.
And then in another stage of your life, you like something else. So you basically sell what still has value, and then you use that money to buy the new thing that you enjoy.
Well, that could be true, yeah. But so we got the collector thing going on, right? So what let's go to another level now.
Okay. Take me to another level, Marcy. That's why she arrived, to take me to another level.
I'm going to take us to another level. Now, you have the collector. They, like you said, you have it displayed, all this beautiful stuff, right? So then you have the impulse shopper, right? That just shop, but does nothing with it. It just accumulates and adds on, like shoes and jackets and bags and all of these things that we love to shop, right? Like we discussing before too. You have the shoppers, the retail shoppers, the wholesale shoppers. Then you have the thrift shop shoppers, right? I think those are a little bit worse. I love thrift shopping. I'm a thrifty thrifter. But when it's enough, right? But some people don't, because they use that shopping as therapy, right?
Well, that's what I said right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I said. I mean, that was definitely me at a
So,
stage in my life.
yeah, because when you have those, when you're going through something in your life or anything could be emotional, so you're trying to find that way to ease your mind, right, from the issues that you're going through in life. So, to me, I mean, yeah, I did do that myself. I'm guilty of that. I'm like, or I remember in the city when I used to work in Manhattan, right after work, I had a horrible day or something went wrong and I didn't want to go home right away. So I was right smack in the middle of Broadway. So you have all of these stores
I'm
out
feeling
there.
you right now.
Oof.
Matter of fact, I'm reminiscing and enjoying the process.
Yes. Myra.
Just the memory alone is still pleasurable.
Yes, it is. And there were some dynamite stores out there, man. And it was just like, I had a favorite boutique store. And it was down the block around the corner from where I used to work. And they already knew me. So they would say, hey, we got those bags coming in next week. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to be here.
Okay, Marcy, you know what? You just threw something down that shocks me.
Really?
They knew you?
They knew me. Yup.
I was never that bad. Nobody ever knew me.
I was bad. Yes, they knew me. The girls in the shop in that boutique, they already knew.
Wow.
They would already tell me like, hey, we're getting this in stock. So I was like, sometimes they wouldn't.
You know
even
what?
show
Your
me.
loyalty is touching.
I can't.
I'm gonna look at it as a positive. You were just
I was loyal, yes.
You're a loyal shopper.
Yes, I was. Yes, I
Wow.
was. But that got me in a lot of trouble, and it got me into a lot of debt, and it got me into where my house was getting filled. Like I came to the realization that I had a problem. So, and some people don't realize that because they just want to feed into that feeling and they just want to it's like a drug. It's like a quick fix. Let me just shop. Let me just go to the
Well,
store.
it's also sabotaging your future for what
Yeah.
you want in the moment, right? And that's really the other piece is that delayed gratification.
Mm-hmm.
And it's getting worse and worse in these days because everything is so easy to get now
Right. It is online.
that people are so much more impatient and so much more demanding.
Oh yeah, definitely. And there's a lot. Even secondhand shops are online. You have so many different apps out there. That people could just buy a Gucci shirt for like $40. And brand name stuff, and it's like, oh wow, the excitement, the adrenaline. It's like, oh my god, I gotta
The
get that
chase,
shirt.
the hunt.
Yes, that. And I was like, oh my god. So I was like a walking designer brand. I had Louis Vuitton, I had Calvin Klein, I had Tommy Hilfiger. All of those things, right? From shoes to socks to underwear to jackets, everything. So, and
Can I ask you a question about that?
yeah,
Do you think that Latin culture has something to do with that?
good question. Perhaps, yeah. I think so.
I think so.
You think so?
I think so. I think I definitely got the impression from my family that, we had to keep up appearances,
That's true. That
we had to save face,
Yeah.
that we couldn't embarrass them, right? And so, like for me as a young mom, as a young single mom especially, I was making purchases at Christmas as an example, right? Christmas coming around the corner.
Yeah.
I was buying Christmas gifts for people I didn't really know well enough to buy a Christmas gift, but they were my family, and it was like this unwritten rule,
Yeah.
right? And what are the people going to say that you show up without a gift, as if it was like an absolute rule,
Right.
right?
Right.
And it didn't matter if I didn't have the money to extend to that, right? If it didn't matter if I had to buy it on a card,
Right.
I still felt like I had to, because otherwise the shame and the guilt and the embarrassment was going to be too much.
Right.
So I have witnessed that in my children's boyfriends, also my daughter's boyfriends.
Yeah.
Over the years, I've noticed when they dated Latin guys that there was a little bit of that. That I got to keep up with the Joneses. I got to look better than I am. You know, just that vibe.
Yeah.
And in other cultures, I don't see that as much.
I think it's because it also could be, sorry, it also could be, you know, like you said, appearance, right? You know, you want to be able to look good. You know, when you look good, you feel good. That's one thing I know.
Yeah, I don't know. When you're broke, you don't feel good.
I mean, like
When
you're walking around with a
when your head is full of like, oh my God, that bill, I got to pay that. I don't know if I have enough money left over in the bank for the rent. Oh my God, I hope that bill doesn't clear.
oh my God,
Come
yes,
on,
I
you know,
Yeah,
you know that
yeah.
underlying pressure.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter how great you look that day.
I know.
That underlying pressure is awful.
I know.
I mean, that was the unpleasantness that really made me change my behavior,
Right.
because I just couldn't handle it. Like I had collectors calling me, you know, back in the day when you had the not voicemail. What was that? The phone,
Answering machine.
the answering machine. So the collectors would call my house, and that I wouldn't answer that phone, right? I'd see the caller ID. I know that it was the collector, and I would run to a closet and I would stick myself in the closet. And while I was in the closet, in the dark, crouched in the corner,
oh my God.
I could hear the tape clicking on and the collector going,
oh my
"This
God.
is so-and-so from Chase Bank." And
Oh
we're
my
calling you.
God. like,
And I wouldn't come out of that closet until they had hung up the phone. Now, that's irrational. That's crazy.
but did you think that they were going to see you through the answering machine? You was hiding in the closet?
I did. I did. I'm not going to front. I did. I
we
did.
see you, Myra.
My anxiety and my stress over the debt was so strong
Yeah, that could mess up anybody like that. Yeah,
that
definitely.
I just felt like they were constantly clicking at my heel, like a dog, you know, nipping at my heels. That's how I felt all the time.
Oh my God.
And you know, after a while, I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, you got to get
You know,
out
I
that
got
funk.
to that point where I had all I could take, and that was good, because when you confront the problem, then you can find a solution, right? But until you keep yourself kind of blind and avoiding and ignoring and denial,
Did
you
you
just get more of the same.
did you learn that lesson? Did you like said okay?
Am I a coach or what? Heck yeah, I learned that lesson. I learned that lesson. I went through the process of changing the course of my life and
Right.
changing the trajectory. And then I got so impassioned about it
Right.
that, you know, I wanted to help other people do the same thing,
Yeah.
right? Because sometimes you make mistakes, and it's okay to make mistakes.
Yeah.
It's just important to correct them.
Right.
Right? To learn something and correct them. When you are making the same mistake over and over and over again, then that's not okay. That's a whole other
Yeah.
that's a whole other topic.
Yes, that's a whole other topic. Definitely it is. I'm telling you. But when you're emotionally attached to things, right? And it's like whether it's something personal or it's something that you just don't want to give up. Like how is it that, because I found myself in a couple of tight spots, right, when I was going through the motion of moving, and I found some stuff that I really didn't want to get rid of. But then I'm looking at it and I'm like, what purpose is it really going to have for me, right? And some things of 15, 20 years ago. And then my favorite handbags, right? My pocketbooks and my name brand bags, they were all deteriorating because they were so old. And I looked at it and I still wanted not to give it up. And I was like, I could fix it. I could take it to the tailor. I could take it to the shoe repair guy. He could put a handle on it. He could cover it. No, throw the shit away. okay, because that's it. But some people don't have that capability. Some people want to be able to find a solution for it and still be able to keep it.
Right.
And when they do that, right, and you find yourself in such of accumulation of all these things that you're never going to use again. So how do you part with that? How do you find in your brain to say and to have common sense and say, I don't want this anymore? Because I was able to do it, but some people can't.
Exactly. And I think there's help out there for people who can't, right?
Right.
And again, that's when you acknowledge that you have a problem, you have to seek support. You have to seek help, right? There's therapy for certain people. There's support groups. There's dialogue, talking about it like we are. Everything supports movement. It's isolation and denial.
Pa
that
fuera.
really
Yeah, Joe.
doesn't-
That's it. You throw it out. But some people can't, Joe. Some people can't, so.
Right. And so you got to know yourself, right? Physician knows thyself. Like you have to kind of know where you are. I didn't make a change in every area on my own. Like
Right.
some things I was able to quit cold turkey on my own, and other things I wasn't. So the
Right.
things the places where I couldn't let go, I sought help for that.
Right.
There's organization professionals that help. They
Yes.
they are trauma aware, and they're there to support people in that process of decluttering. There are therapists, there are coaches who specifically work with people on decluttering.
Yeah.
The key is ask for the help, look for the help, invest in yourself, say yes to supporting yourself in really breaking the chain.
Right.
Because that's what it is. It's a chain. It's something that's bonding you.
Mm-hmm.
It's bondage. It's a
Bondage.
sort of bondage,
Bondage.
right? And if you want freedom, you got to do something about that. You got to find a tool. You got to find a friend. You got to find a
Something.
therapist. You got to find some way through that.
Right.
But even in the OCD, what is it? The OCD, the National OCD Network or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They have this whole list on. It's like a 2-page PDF
Right.
that outlines the mental health issue of hoarding.
Right.
And it talks even in there that if people aren't ready to change, no matter how much you want them to change, they're not changing, right?
Yeah.
And this kind of issue definitely impacts not just you, but it impacts who you live with, your family members, your extended family members.
Yeah.
That's something to be mindful of,
Right.
and that helps me to have awareness
Right.
and support myself in doing what it takes regularly to reduce clutter.
Right.
I know one thing that I always make piles. Always. Year after year, I have not been able to stop making piles.
Right.
Mail.
Right. Oh.
Mail, magazines.
Oh, that's so daunting.
I
Every
have
single-
never been
oh.
able to stop myself from making piles. I can make the decision to go through it more
Right.
often, right? So that the piles don't get so big.
Right.
That I can do, but I still make piles with
Oh.
it because I have the intention to read everything that I get, because I love to read, and I love anything that is like, learning, it's like a big thing for me. I just really love that.
Oh, my mom does that. You know that?
And because I love that, I want to know everything there is to know.
Jesus. We have internet.
Right, but it's not the same.
It's not the same.
I grew up with a book and touching the paper.
I know,
and
we're old
feeling
school.
the book in my hand.
Yeah.
I enjoy that.
Yeah.
So why would I give it up?
Yeah.
Now, I have made decisions with myself about that, right? I make the choice to look at it often and clear it out.
Right.
Clear out whatever is not necessary, outdated, those type of things. I also have made decisions that if I bring one thing in, I have to let go of one thing.
Right. Right.
I've made that choice and that commitment. And because I do that, I minimize that tendency
Right.
from growing unchecked, right? Because I mean, that's what it is. Any behavior can become self-sabotage if it goes unchecked.
It can. Definitely it can. I mean, I can relate with you with that pile. And like I said, my mom is the same way, right? But she's an older lady and she's old school and she doesn't use no internet or anything like that. So, and she was, she was a teacher back in her day, and she is used to the books and the reading and and all that stuff. But when I go and visit her and I say, "Ma, what is this? Like, this is mail from like 5, 6, 7 years ago. You need to throw that out. Those people not even there anymore." So it's just, she goes, "No, leave it there. I'm gonna see them. I gotta see." And I'm like, "Oh my God." It just like it bothers me. Like, I want to grab all that mail and just do a bonfire outside, just burn it.
You are offending me right now.
I'm so sorry. But it's just like, well, I was a little bit of a victim of that myself because I had this huge mailbox inside my home, and daily routine type of stuff. You go into your mailbox, you see it, boom, and then I used to throw it in the mailbox inside my house, and I'll check it later, or I see it later, or I'll separate the bills from the regular, schmeal that we get. And I realized that within a month, if you don't clean that out, it's just piling up and piling up and piling up. And I'm like, "Oh my God, this is ridiculous. Like, what am I doing?" I was like, "No, I can't." So now in the new house, I said, "Don't do this, Marcy. You got to get that mail and just rip it the minute. Don't even rip it on the way up to the stairs. So when you get in the house, you throw it out. Because if I do the same habit that I was doing in the old house, then I'm just not going to get rid of the problem." So now when I come home and I see, the mail, bought the smallest little tiny box now where it only can fit a couple of pieces of mail. So I forced myself to minimize that, because before I had this huge one, and because you have the space, you keep throwing and you keep throwing and you keep it. And that's how it is with life, right? Some people, they feel like, "Oh, there's a nice empty space here. Let me fill it up." So no, I like to see, vacío, empty. And it was just, let me tell you, I had my best friend come over and help me to do that. She goes, "What do you need for me to do?" I said, "Here." I gave her 2 huge bags of freaking mail. And she was there for 3 hours. She goes, "You should." I said, "Break all of them." She was there. "Choo, choo, my hands are broken. I can't do it anymore."
Wow, you could have given her a shredder, man.
I didn't have one. She was the shredder.
Dang.
But listen, these are lessons learned, that what was not serving me and was not giving me, joy anymore. Like, these are the things that I had to change that habit. And I knew it was wrong. And not to offend you, Myra. Oh, my mom, I love you. Te quiero, mommy. But these are
I'm not offended.
but these are the things that I realized that I had to stop doing as a habit. And I knew it was just cluttering and cluttering and cluttering. And it was just, it was a pain.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure, go ahead. We're here.
How many emails in your inbox?
It's so much. I have no more data. And yeah.
That's
it's
another place where clutter accumulates.
Yes, you're so right on that. And it's digital, right?
And we think because it's digital, it's not clutter because nobody sees it and all that. But it really is clutter.
Yeah, it's true. But that's another thing too. Like, I can tell you, well, because I'm a photographer, right? So I have I keep, oh my God, I can't even tell you, 14 years worth of photography. I have 3 external
Film?
drives, and they're all like from 1 terabyte to 3 terabytes, and yeah, it's a lot. So
Yeah, but you know what? Your photography is art, so
yeah, but some pictures I just want to get rid of. But the thing is, it's like you said, it's digital, right? Nobody's gonna see it. It's in there, right? And it's like, okay, you just keep on piling that on too. So now, if I was to go into those external drives, I will be there for days
Yeah.
trying to clear that out. It's the same thing with physical things. The accumulation. I say humans are creatures of habit. When we start to do something in a routine, and we just don't realize what we're doing because it's routine, right? Getting that mail, putting it in there, accumulating things in your emails, or accumulating things, and oh, it's there. I'm gonna retrieve it when I need it, but it does accumulate. I've gone through, oh my God, like 3 laptops already, the last 10 years. So and I try to empty all of those things out, but it's just too much because I've accumulated so much of it. So, and those are digital things. Imagine physical things, right? And it's like the accumulation just grows and grows, and people just don't realize how they start to limit themselves from their own space, and they push themselves out from all of the space that they're accumulating with all of these things. It could be emotional, it could be something. I'm going to leave it later, leave it there. It's the mind and how they
Yeah.
pursue things, But
So I think the main thing that we're trying to encourage all our listeners
yes.
and our viewers to do is to simplify, right? I mean, we can't be perfect.
Right.
None of us can be perfect. There are reasons for the accumulation of things, and also there's reasons for letting go things. And I think it's important to be aware of which is which and when is when, and to follow the cycles of nature, right? Because nature in itself, it does a good job
Right.
at going through the cycles and clearing out things and letting things go and getting that back on. I'm like right now, right? Fall, you see all the trees let go of all the leaves, it's getting prepared for winter, and then that's all necessary and goes into the ground and then decomposes, and then that's the fuel for spring. Right. And so I think if we're a little bit more connected to the cycles of nature, then we also can kind of take a hint
Right.
and know when's the right time for each
Right.
action to take. Right. And then if we do enough of that, we do reduce the clutter in our lives. Right. We're living more intentional and living more in alignment with what we know to be true, which is at some point,
Mm-hmm.
it'll be someone in my life's turn to clear out my stuff, whatever I've left over, right?
Yeah.
And it's okay. It's okay with me for someone to clear out my stuff. What's not okay with me is for someone, if it's my daughter or my husband or someone else, to be overwhelmed by the process, right? You're going to be overwhelmed by the grief anyway, right? And the loss, but it's so much more complicated if you're also overwhelmed with all this stuff that was never looked at, never considered, never
Yeah.
brought up to date, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, that's just what's going to happen.
Well,
So I wish to take it easier on the people behind me by doing some of that downsizing
Yeah.
now, and knowing that it gets emotional, knowing that it takes time.
Yeah.
I'm starting as early as I can, and
Yeah.
hopefully I have a good amount of time left, and I will make a big dent in it
yeah.
with that time.
What do you say to family members or friends that have that family member that is going through that hoarding process, and they're trying to help them, and they refuse to acknowledge that they have a problem, or they say, don't worry about it, I'll take care of it, don't touch my stuff, don't worry about my stuff, because I've gone through that, and it's very frustrating, very frustrating when you're trying to help that person that you love, you know, that family member, because I've gone through that. And I went through a lot of suffering, and I was pulling my hairs out because I didn't know how to get through that person, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, how can I make you realize that what you're doing to yourself and how you're living in your space is not healthy, you know, and it's a mental issue, you know, but you don't want to offend that person, call them crazy or anything like that. But you want to be able to help them because you want them to see them in a better environment. So
Well,
it's hard.
If you want my honest answer,
Yeah, please.
it may not be popular, but this is what I did.
Mm.
When I was in a situation with my mom like that,
Mm-hmm.
and my mom was very confrontational and unwilling to take my advice, you know, and she during her weakest moments, she became the super mother, you know, that super, yo soy la madre, she would say, right?
Yeah.
And she would use her strength to diminish me in some way.
Mm.
And, you know, I would get deadlocked with her in that conflict, right?
Yeah.
And at some point I realized that my time and my energy was better served if I helped the future me rather than helped my mother.
Mm.
So what I did was I started to save money so that I could get support to help me clear out her space. Right? I could wait till she took a nap and then emptied out things while she was asleep,
Oh,
because I knew she wasn't going to go into the kitchen. She wasn't going to notice.
right.
Right. So I didn't do those things where I knew she was still traveling and taking, you know, being in those
Right.
spaces. I started clearing out the spaces that I knew she wasn't even going into anymore. But I did it when she wasn't looking, or when she was asleep, or when she was at a doctor's appointment. And that supported me, the future me that was going to have to deal with what was left over. Right. And I'm glad I did those extra steps to support the future me, because when she actually died, the grief was very, very, very powerful.
Right.
And then I got pneumonia right after that.
Wow.
So if I hadn't done those steps back when she was still alive,
Right.
it would have been so much more complicated for me to deal with the funeral, the burial,
Yeah.
the clearing out of the space, the trying to support her partner so he could stay in the apartment.
Right.
You know, like
I
I just would not have been able to do those things. So my advice is always to acknowledge that you have to figure out which fight is worth the energy and the time, right? And if you're in a deadlock situation with someone
Right.
you love, then you might as well just do what you can to support what you can outside of that relationship.
Right.
And then it at least minimizes the stress.
Right.
Because the situation was already stressful with my mom trying to take care of her, trying to help her and all that. I didn't need all that emotional argument and stress and I just didn't need it. I just did not need it.
I know.
And so that's how I addressed the situation. I removed my investment in her outcomes.
Right.
Right. I just focused on loving her
Right.
and you know, loving myself enough to make myself as peaceful as possible through the process.
Yeah. Well, you know, thank God that you have that ways of thinking. I wouldn't have a lot of patience.
Well, you don't have to have the patience. You're not. It's not about having patience. It's about rechanneling your energy towards something you actually can control. Because that's the thing. If you can't control someone in your life, and this is what it says in the OCD
Right.
PDF manual, right? It's if you can lead the horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Like, you cannot make someone do something you don't
Right.
want that they don't want to do, even if it's the best thing for them,
Yeah.
right? You just can't make it happen. And so then you're basically just spilling out your energy and your time, and you're making yourself crazy
Yeah.
trying to do something that's not doable.
Yeah.
So it's better to rechannel that energy into doing something you can do to support yourself. Because the whole reason you're saying those things is because you want to avoid the problems that are in the future.
Yeah.
Right? That's what you're trying to avoid that. So it's just finding a different way to manage that future problem.
Yeah. When I say I didn't have patience, I didn't have patience, but I had to dig deep into myself because I know that they needed the help. So I had to find a way I had to get myself right first.
Yeah.
And then to know what the task was at hand and what was expecting of me and what was expecting of the situation ahead. And I had to really find ways in my mind, like, okay, try some subtleness, Marcy. try to be a little, because I can't be a little rough with verbally.
What?
Oh my God, Myra,
She
I
acts
can't.
like I don't know her. She acts like I have not been around her.
I know she does. But it was just a hard situation. It was really hard, you know. And I'm talking about my mom, you know, and you know, she's God bless her, she's gonna be 86, and you know, but there was a time where she was in a depression mode after my grandmother passed away, her mom. And also dealing with death, right? Also dealing with loss. So we had to make sure that she was okay. But then there was a time that after my grandmom passed away, you know, I started to see some change in her, in my mom, you know, and life goes on, man. You know, she was living in her home and I was living in mine. I was working, you know, weekends, you try to make up for the things that you can't do on the weekday. So time went by until one day, you know, my sister, she was like, hey, you know, you gotta go see mom. So when I went there, it was not a pretty sight, you know, and I was like, whoa, we can't have this. And it was a lot. It was a lot. And I love my mom, but she's a very strong character. Very strong character. Don't tell me what to do type of stuff. And, you know, like, you know.
Is that one of those? Hija fuiste, madre será. Is that one of those?
Yes, definitely it is. And me and I love my mom, but I believe that we're so much alike that we just bump heads. And my sister's the middle grounds, and she's more subtle. So I had to find a way within myself to find that subtleness, to find words to tell her, and not to argue with her and fight with her, because when you do that, and I realized you're just not going to get the results that you're looking for, because you're just going to hit a wall. And I know her character, and I know how she is, and I know what she's going to tell me before she says it, right? And that's what I'm saying. When you're dealing with family members like that, it's very hard, because you want the best for them. You want them to live in a healthy environment. You want to be able to walk in and say, oh, it looks so good in here. You know, I want her to be able to have that space. It took me a year for me to be working with her and trying to get that space how I wanted it for her, because I kept telling her, I said, Ma, you don't understand. Like, when you pass away, this is what you're going to leave me. And I don't want that, because everything is going out in the garbage, and all the things that you've been holding on so dear to life, okay, it's just going to go in the garbage. So, you know, I tried to say things to her and try to make her realize, you know, the things that she was doing was wrong, you know. And, you know, when I felt like she wasn't listening, you know, I try to bring in reinforcements and try to bring in my sister or my nieces, or, you know, try to say, hell, I can't do this by myself. You know, now I need the family support, you know, and because you just can't. Sometimes you really can't just do it by yourself.
Sounds like a win, though. Sounds like you were able to overcome the situation. You
Yes.
found a way through,
Yeah.
and she's in a better place for it. And so that's really awesome.
Definitely, it really is, and I thank God that I was able to find the patience, and I was able to really set myself back and say, okay, don't yell, don't judge, don't point fingers, don't do none of these things, because what's going to happen is that she's going to retaliate against me, and she's going to fight me. She fights me anyway, but she's going to really fight me, and I had to find creative ways to throw things out behind her back. And what are you throwing out? What's in that? And she would go in there in the garbage, and she was like, you throwing out this? And I was like, and I used to tell my nieces, take it out right now, take it out, before she even looks in that bag. So we had to find ways and techniques, to get around that. But thank God, she's in a better space now, and we was able to do that. But I would never want to go through that again. And that was a lesson for me too, because when you see a family member or somebody that right, and you're like, oh my God, am I becoming like that? Am I doing the same thing? Like, that's why I was like, no. Now it's like, I only keep the things that I know that I'm going to be using. Yeah, you have memorabilias and, little trinkets here and there, but those things, right, you put them in a safe place, or you display them properly, or, things like that. Like, quick example, because we're running out of time a little bit here. Sorry, guys, I was late.
Are we running out of time, or are we over time?
A little bit, but we could do another 10 minutes just to make up a little bit of the lost time that I was not here. But when I see that, what I was saying was, when I was moving and I was finding some things that my mom gave to me that was my father's, right? And I was like, oh, this is great. I want to be able to, put it in a safe place, right? Those little things. But it was so much, right? I was like, I'm not going to take it all. I can't, because then what's going to happen is that I'm going to be infected with the hoarding bug. And then it's just going to be a whole repetitious situation. So some people can think like that, and some people can't, because they just, I remember, remember those, oh my God, what are those things that we used to wear?
Pins?
When you go to a baby shower or a sweet 16?
Corsage?
It had another name. Oh, yes, mío. Oh, yeah. Anybody remember those little things that they would put on you with the little ribbon, and it would say the date and the name?
Yeah.
There's a name for, not a corsage. It starts with a C. Oh my God. Anybody help me? Come on, Spanish people. You know these things.
Capia?
Yes. Oh my God. I found a whole jar full of those things. And I was like, what are you doing with, throw that out. Oh, it was from my nieces or my granddaughters or this and that. Yo, that was like 20 years ago. Why are you holding on to this little piece of thing? It's like, the memories should be pictures. The memories should be videos. The memories should be just one photo, instead of just collecting these little miscellaneous items. And I've seen a lot of hoarders with those type of things, just little item. I was like, oh my God, it's just too much. So you have to know when to say no. That's it, no more, right? But I would say, if you have family members, if you know someone that is living in a space where it's not healthy because they're accumulating things, try to talk to them in a way where you can use words to relate to them. Because not everybody is going to be receptive to what you're going to say. Why you got so much shit? Like, and be like, it's my stuff, and people can't get on defense, like I said, I had to learn you know, how to speak and what to say and have patience and be subtle and have calmness so I could get through her, you know, and there are a lot of people out there like that. So, you know, as long as you acknowledge that, yeah, maybe I need to start clearing out some stuff, you know, or if you know somebody that is going through that, you know, just try to talk to them, you know, and let them know in a kind way.
That's right. Let love lead.
Love.
Love. Let the love lead and
Let
guide.
the love lead and guide, definitely. But you know, this is something that we wanted to talk about because, of course, it is personal. It's personal for me, and it was personal for Myra, and I see a lot of people that have gone through those type of situations, and we want to be able to give some type of guidance and to acknowledge, right, that there is a problem when you're not living in a clear and clean space. Your environment is very important for your mental and for your health, right? Some people, they have a space just for their either prayer or their Zen or just a place where they could just sit down and have their tea or coffee. And they love, you know, to have greenery, plants around. It just gives them that environment. Like, I love when I sit down in the morning and have my coffee outside on my patio or whatever. Some people don't have that luxury neither, right? And so they just overwhelm themselves with things because either they live alone, right? And that could be another thing, that they are by themselves. Nobody comes to them or visits them. And there's so many levels on this, right? And they say, oh, you know, they just go and shop and buy or throw, and they don't care, or just have things around, right? Not have no sense of organization or cleanliness. That could be that another level of hoarding as well. And they just poisoning their own environment, right? So there's nobody really there to say what's going on. Do you need help? So there's a lot of different levels when it comes down to the hoarding. When you see that word, and a lot of the times, people don't like to be called that. I'm not a
No.
hoarder.
Nobody likes that.
Nobody likes that. So what would you use as another word? Hoarder.
Well, I think it's more important to focus on the behavior than the label.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that you know, you're talking about something that's already happened, right? But if we think about it, right, before that moment comes along where the environment has already been poisoned or filled,
Right.
there are like a lot of little things that happen on the road
Right.
to that, right?
Right.
And that's what I had to capture in myself in my 20s, right? I had tendencies. I had to be aware of myself and start to recognize these patterns of behavior that could lead to what you're describing,
Right.
right? And me, like, I had to see that in myself and start working on it when the acorn is small, because it's so much easier to manage something when it's an acorn than when it's a giant oak tree,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I like to really focus on, is prevention and proactivity and productiveness, right? And to like really ask oneself those questions and stay present enough to your own experience to be able to recognize what parts of you are out of balance, right? Because it's so easy as a human being to focus on someone else and their problems.
Yeah.
And those are really glaring. Oh my gosh, this person does this and that and the
Yeah.
other. And of course, they're self-sabotaging, and, you know, give all that insight or all that guidance or
Right.
advice, right?
Right.
But it's much harder to take the time to consider, why am I noticing that in
Right.
someone else? Because a lot of times the behaviors we notice in other people that we don't like,
Mm-hmm.
that we're annoyed by or negatively impacted is a behavior that we have
Right.
that we're either trying to suppress, ignore, deny, or get past.
Right.
And it doesn't serve us to do that. It doesn't
Right.
serve us to just continue to suppress, deny, and ignore. It's much more helpful to look in the mirror and consider with compassion and with love,
Right.
like, could I minimize the risk
Right.
that's ahead of me with this particular behavior
Right.
by making some adjustments now?
Right.
Right. And it's the same thing when we spend time with people. We can start to see if their behavior starts to change and shift, because if we have spent enough time with them, we'll notice that.
Right.
And a lot of times that thought that you said, oh, I don't want to insult them, I don't want to offend them, I don't want to upset them, that sometimes overrides our love and concern and allows things to go on further
Right.
than they need to.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Because we're more concerned about how we're going to be received in that moment rather than really supporting that person
Right.
in becoming aware of something that could be helpful.
Well, definitely, I agree with that, Myra.
Thank you.
And we're running out of time, but I just got here, right? Oh my God, I'm telling you, man, gotta love MTA. But really quick, 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Your advice on your advice or any tip on this topic today.
Well, I just gave a bunch of advice and a
Okay.
bunch of tips.
Really quick.
Okay. Look in your email, and if you have thousands of emails, you are cluttering. Okay? Begin deleting now.
Oh my God, I've been deleting for the past 3 weeks, girl, and I still don't get no data. Oh my God, that is so funny. But it was a good topic.
Yeah. I mean,
And-
I think in all seriousness, what I'm trying to say is look for the thing that has the least amount of emotional charge.
Yes.
Delete those things first.
Yes.
Get rid of those things first.
Right.
Right? Because that's an easier road than to try to attack the things that you're really emotionally tied to.
Right. Okay.
And you're going to make a difference in that pile if you at least get rid of what you're not that connected to.
Right. Everything has a meaning or emotion, but you just have to, look at it and say if this is worth it. So definitely declutter your houses, people. Declutter your houses, because at the end of the day, this may sound a little morbid, but when you die, you don't take it with you, man. So definitely, just look at what is valuable in your life and what is worth keeping and what is worth throwing out. So,
And remember that your house is a reflection of your mind.
that's right. So keep your house and your mind clean. So before we go, okay, because I was not here, so I want to be able to bring a couple of notes here. Like I always say, guys, if you didn't catch the live, please make sure that you catch the replay on our YouTube channel. Please make sure that you go there and subscribe. And it's a simple search, Let Your Voices Be Heard, a podcast show, just that way, and you will find us, our logo. Okay, and make sure that you click on there and you see all of the new topics that are coming up for the season and everything that we're going to be discussing for the year. And hopefully you guys continue to join. And we want to be able to bring these things. If you guys have an idea for a topic for us, that's why we make these groups for you to suggest topics as well. If you could go to our Facebook group, also, Let Your Voices Be Heard podcast show, you could always send us a message, or you could always write and post a comment and to see what the topics you are interested that for us to speak on. So definitely. Also, I want to mention we have a couple of events coming up. For December 12th, we are having our last Christmas event, created for you artist market. Definitely December 12th, we're going to be at 691 Bay Street, and it's a curated luxe night market. So come on down after work or on a Friday night. Come and do some shopping, get your stocking stuffers, last minute gifts. We're going to have some great, amazing small businesses there. We have a lot of vendors to serve for your needs, for your gifts. And when you come in, we'll be serving you a drink, and we do have free gift bags for our guests and our customers. So make sure you put that on your calendar. December 12th, that's a Friday night, from 6 to 11 p.m. It's going to be at 691 Bay Street at Edgewater Hall in Staten Island. That's the last event of the year. So until, of course, our next season, when we start back up again for May. Okay, and also Breakfast with Santa. We're doing Breakfast with Santa, 695 right next door at United Restaurant for the kiddies. Come and take pictures with Santa, get free gifts, and it's going to be great. We're going to be there. I believe it's from 9 to 1. Don't kill me, Joe, if I don't get the time right, but it's going to be Breakfast with Santa on December 21st. December 21st. So make sure that you check them out. I think we are pretty much sold out on the RSVP tickets. So definitely it is a win-win. But, these are the things that we're doing, of course, for the holidays, for the kids, for the adults, just to be able to have some Christmas holiday cheer. Yes, definitely.
Christmas cheer.
Yes, definitely. So, guys, make sure that you catch the replay on our YouTube channel. And I want to thank Myra again for holding down the fort while I'm trying to get my butt over here. MTA. Oh, my goodness. But yes, thank you guys so much for being watching us and your comments. We want to be able to continue and bring you more topics on so many different things in life. So,
Wellness after 50. That's what we're talking about.
yes, definitely. So, for our next episode, we are going to be putting out the date, right? And please make sure that you join the Facebook group. We post all of our information, our upcoming topics there, and also on Instagram. So for Instagram is LYVBH, Let Your Voices Be Heard podcast show. So make sure that you follow that as well. And Myra,
Yes.
she said yes. Let everyone know also you are with Dragon Lifestyle.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I am.
Yes.
I am. And I actually have a program that is very supportive for decluttering the mind. It's called Positive Intelligence. And I have a special right now looking for 10 people, only 10 people, to invest in this program and set themselves up for a much more enlightened and relaxed 2026.
Oh, beautiful.
So if you're interested, please check out my website, www.dragonlifestyle.com.
Beautiful. And one more thing, guys, before we hang up, of course, hang up. Sponsorships for all the small businesses and entrepreneurs out there that want to be able to be mentioned on our show. We have different sponsorship tiers, and check it out on our Facebook group and also on our Instagram if you want to be able to participate as a sponsor for the show. You could be mentioned, your business can be mentioned here. So, and also we have different levels for that. So check that out. Send me a message if you're interested, or you could even be our guest on the show as well. So if you want to be a sponsor for our show, check us out and send me a message. So, Myra, that's it.
That's it. See you next time.
Thank you, guys. Peace out. I made it.
You made it.